Hello, everybody. Welcome back to King Badger's Pit. Today we'll be returning to Sabaton with Night Witches. This is going to be the animated story video of Night Witches, featuring Yarn Hub. For those who don't know, Night Witches is a song about the 588th Night Bomber Squadron from the Soviet Union during World War II, made of all females. The story's going to explain more. The video's going to explain a lot more about it, so I'm going to leave it to that. Right now, I'm going to ask you guys a favor. I am looking for help for this channel. I need new content art, and I need help editing. If you're willing and able to do either one of those two things, put your comment down below and let me know, or go over to my YouTube description, like my actual page, and you'll find an email there and send an email to that email. With that said, let's take a deep dive through history with Sabaton and Yarn Hub. And if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you want to see more, ring the notification bell, consider becoming a member. And in the description will be a link to the original video as well as the Sabaton playlist. I will see you all in the video. Let's get to it. Alright, Sabaton Night Witches with Yarn Hub. Animated story video. It's about a 7-minute long video, so it's going to be a little bit winded, but I think pausing every minute, so let's get to it.
The Germans are resting behind the lines of the Eastern Front, their tents in neat rows. All is in order in the quiet and still of the night. It's cold, and the winter snow crunches under the jackboot of a guard. Looking up into the sky, the snow starts to drift down. It's peaceful here. Was that a noise from the sky? No, it's just the wind. Suddenly, piercing the still of the night, there's an otherworldly scream and a whoosh as a dark form speeds by. And was that a woman's laughter in the distance? There are no engine sounds, and the suddenly fearful German soldier loses his footing and whispers under his breath, "Die Nachthexen." The world is all at once a bloom of fire and ash, and two more dark forms pass without a sound. Hearing the whooping and celebration of these supernatural creatures, the guard shakes himself from his fear and calls out, "Die Nachthexen."
The Nachthexen, there you go. The Nachthexen is German for Night Witches. And like I said, this is on the Russian front, and this is when the German forces were already into Russia. Because you'll find out why this is the case. These planes, the planes that they're using, wouldn't have made it any much farther than that. So that's another reason why. Brave women. Brave soldiers, too. Everyone in World War II, nearly everybody in World War II is brave.
And ash, and two more dark forms pass without a sound. Hearing the whooping and celebration of these supernatural creatures, the guard shakes himself from his fear and calls out, "Die Nachthexen! Die Nachthexen! The Night Witches!" In the sky, above, 3 planes of the soon-to-be-famous 588th Night Bomber Regiment, their engines now running, turn east for home. Time to rearm and refuel for another mission. Coming into land, they're greeted by their Commissar, Yevdokia Rashkevich. The young girls that form the pilots and navigators are between the ages of 17 and 26. They are desperate to take the fight to the Germans and have traveled from all over Russia to join the all-women regiments. The 588th is where the least skilled of all the women are placed, but that didn't stop them from carving their name in history. In the early days, they were largely ridiculed by the Soviet men.
So, I want to talk about that a little bit. So, this, I'm pretty sure these women volunteered. I'm pretty sure this wasn't a draft. But people say this about the Soviets, that when they talk about the stories, like, oh look, Russia let their women fight. Don't read too much into that. Russia let their women fight, yes. Russia was also notorious, Soviets were notorious for wasting human life and destroying and devaluing their soldiers. So when they heard the women wanted to fight, the Russians were probably like, okay, sounds good to me. Meanwhile, we as Americans and other countries were like, especially after Normandy, especially after seeing everything we saw in World War I as well, we probably were like, we don't want our daughters and our sisters and our mothers to go over there and fight. We don't want them to have to do that. But Russia just didn't care.
Where the least skilled of all the women are placed. But that didn't stop them from carving their name in history. In the early days, they were largely ridiculed by the Soviet men. Given men's uniforms that were too big and shoes all of the same size, the women did the best they could with the clothes, making them fit with belts or filling the large men's shoes with stuffing. The equipment they were given was woefully out of date. The Polikarpov PO2 was a two-man trainer, underpowered and made of cloth and wood. These old string bags were nicknamed crop dusters, or even worse, sewing machines due to the noise their tiny engines made. But the women of the 588 ignored the taunts, and despite the odds, turned the plane's shortcomings to their advantage. The planes at maximum speeds were far below the stall speeds of any of the German fighters. Giving them a tight turning circle, they were almost impossible to hit. They were susceptible to small arms fire and anti-aircraft guns. So
yeah, like the Russians were just so hard up for manpower that they did this. It makes you think, like, you know, today's women, this wouldn't fly. Like, and, you know, to be fair, it's not the nicest thing to do, to give them a crappy plane to fly for their missions. Then again, German planes are awesome. The Messerschmitt 109 was really good, but the Russian planes weren't very, like, there weren't planes that much better than what these girls were flying in the Soviet Union Air Force.
Their strategy was to attack in threes, with a navigator in each plane. At her signal, the pilot would cut the engines and swoop in slowly, silently, dropping their bombs, dealing death from above. Unexpected, undetected, stealth perfected. If necessary, the other two would draw fire from the fighters or from the ground. They slept during the day and rose at dusk to take their vengeance on the invaders. This unnatural bravery in their stealth tactics earned them their title, the Night Witches. The German ace Johannes Steinhoff said, "We simply couldn't grasp that the Soviet airmen that caused us the greatest trouble were in fact women. These women feared nothing."
Alright, real quick pause as we're going to get into the song. Yeah, these women were very brave, and, you know, I'm glad that Sabaton decided to share this story. And Yarnhub's done a great job of explaining it in detail. That's the second one.
Pushing on and on, the flames are going strong. That was number one. Some were down below, they're looking for the foe. Others on the run. You can hide, you can move, just a fight that attacks been bruised. In the dark, silent through the night, the witches on the fight. Never miss the mark. Canvas, wings of death, prepare to meet your fate. Night Bomber Regiment 588. Undetected, unexpected, wings of glory, tell the story. Aviation, deviation, undetected, stealth perfected.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, and what I think these are some of the first, if not the very first, stealth bombers. Not stealth bombing routine we ever did. We used the B-17, which was not very stealthy. It was a very large and noisy plane that you could see and hear coming a mile away. So I'm pretty sure this was like one of the first stealth bombing, because I think the first actual stealth bomber emerged in the 1980s with the F100 F11 Nighthawk. I think is what it's called. Which was, by the way, the precursor to the SR-71 Blackbird. But I think this was the first instance that stealth bombing became a thing. I'm not saying these girls invented it, but they helped revolutionize it. I know that.
Undetected, unexpected, wings of glory, tell the story. Aviation, deviation,
Yeah, that would be the one flaw they would have is um, ground AA guns. Uh, like people like say like, how could they not shoot him down? It's like, dude, if the BF-109 isn't shooting him down, nothing else is shooting him down during World War II. Nothing else. Maybe if you had the Red Baron flying the damn thing, maybe he might have been able to do something with that, but the other ones are not. And it happened occasionally. You have to get it out of
Beneath the starlight of the heavens, unlikely heroes in the skies, as they appear on the horizon, the wind will whisper when the Night Witches come. Undetected, unexpected, wings of glory, tell the story. Aviation, deviation, undetected, still perfected. From the depths of Ellis Island, the smells, explosive violence, Russian.
Hold on. Let that sink in. So for our B-17 bombers, we had, I think, 2 gunners outside of the bombs that could defend them. They only had the rifles or pistols that they carried with them, and they were supposed to shoot down, try to use that to shoot down planes. Again, let this be a reminder. Was it awesome these women did this? Yes. Were they extremely brave? Yes. Did the Russians do that because they wanted to be nice to the ladies? No. The Russians did that because they wanted as many people as they could, and just that was their strategy. We're going to take as many people as we could and just throw them at the enemy and see what sticks. It's like cooking spaghetti. You throw it at the wall and see what sticks. If it sticks, it works. And you keep doing it until they stop it. Like, one of the Russian strategies with their tanks is if your tank was on fire, you were going to run it into the German tank. There was no chance, like, again, these women were extremely brave. And, Russia gets some credit for allowing it to happen, but they did not allow it to happen because they wanted to be nice to women. They did it because, hey, that's more people. Joseph Stalin, it was more like, cool, more people that get killed besides me.
Wings of glory, tell the story. Aviation, deviation, undetected, still perfected. From the depths of Ellis Island, the smells, explosive violence. Russian nighttime flight, perfected. Flawless vision, undetected.
32 women, both pilots and navigators, never came home. The 588th became highly decorated and respected, flying more than 23,000 sorties, dropping over 3,000 tons of bombs. 23 Night Witches were awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union, although they were disbanded just 6 months after the war and not allowed to fly in the victory parade, given their planes were so slow. From 1956, after she retired from active service, their commissar Yevdokia Rashkevich took it upon herself to find the site of every single one of her girls that was downed, to mark the place and to pay her respects to each one of the incredibly brave Night Witches.
Alright, that's the end of that. Let's get to the review, please. Alright, that was Sabaton with their song Night Witches, featuring an animated story in the preview and preview and outro, whatever you want to call it, by Yarn Hub. So I want to clarify a few of the statements I said. I said that the Russians did not do that to help the women. They did that to use them. They did not do it to help them. Russians did not do a damn thing in that war to help their people. They did it to use them. because the Russians wanted land and they wanted land. That's what they wanted. They wanted land and they wanted to occupy places, right? But that does not detract or distract from the fact that these women were extremely brave. And when you hear how young they were, what they were flying, and their missions, it makes me want to laugh in the faces of every woman that is currently living that is their age that complains because things are unfair. It's like, you women nowadays have no idea how fortunate they are. No idea. Would you want to do that? Would you want to go fly in a plane made of wood and cloth where you had a bomb and a pistol and you had to go fly it and drop it? The best part is the Russians probably intended for a lot of those women to die. And they were shocked with how many survived. I mean, 36 is a lot, but I really don't know how big their group was. I mean, they had 32 casualties, 26 won Hero of the Soviet Union. Now, I want to know, did they ever award this Hero of the Soviet Union post-mortem, like after someone died? Like sometimes we award the Medal of Honor after somebody has passed. But that's just my opinion. That's my question. I'm going to guess not. I'm just guessing because of how ruthless the Soviets were with their people. There's a reason why that country fell like it did. But yeah, these women were extremely brave. Every single person that took part in World War II, every soldier, every ground soldier, every Air Force pilot, every naval shipman were extremely, extremely brave. Brave beyond measure. Okay? I do not want to discredit or discount that. It doesn't matter what side of the army you fight for, because more often than not, you were fighting for your country. You were not fighting for whatever political game your government was playing. Then the German soldiers were not fighting to spread the Holocaust. They were fighting for their homeland. There might have been a few out there, but they were fighting for their homeland. With that said, if you like this video, remember what I said at the beginning, actually, about the editing and channel art? If you can help me out with that, comment down below or go over to the YouTube description and give me go look at my for that email and then send it to me an email. And if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you want to see more, ring the notification bell, consider becoming a member. In the description will be a link to the original video as well as the Sabaton playlist. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye, everybody.